Applebee's has rats! I found a whole rat in my Cobb salad!
If you've ever worked in fast food, you probably have some wild stories, and you're not alone. On platforms such as Reddit and Whisper, fast food employees took to telling their most horrific stories. Here are the top 10 fast food secrets revealed by fast food employees. Always be nice to the people serving your food.
Come on, you. Cough up a bucket, cheap bastard.
This isn't a suggestion, this is a rule. Always be nice to the people handling your food. Other than being a decent human being, there are a few other reasons why you shouldn't be rude to restaurant staff. Something to remember, a lot of wait staff are students or parents who are just trying to pay the bills. So you snapping at them that your food isn't warm enough definitely means that you're the bad guy.
How intelligent do you have to be to take a food order?
Also, be aware that those serving your food aren't usually the ones who are making your food, meaning that whatever is wrong with your meal, it most definitely isn't their fault. And does being rude ever really solve anything? If you simply ask them nicely, you may even get a free meal or discount out of it. And if those things don't make you want to be nice to your servers, remember that they have their hands on your food and drinks before you do. No one wants anything gross to potentially happen to their food, right? Treat them respectfully.
We treat ourselves with respect.
Always double-check the ingredients.
Never eat anything with the sauce I have to dip myself. Drizzle it on for me. I'm not your maid.
According to sources from the popular platform Reddit, if you see something on the menu and can't find one or two other items with the same ingredients on the menu, you shouldn't order it. Why? Let's say the restaurant sells a pulled pork sandwich and they don't have any other pulled pork items on the menu. Since the pulled pork sandwich isn't going to be ordered too frequently, that means that it's definitely not going to be fresh. The product you're eating could be days or even weeks old. And while it probably won't get you sick, it's definitely not as satisfying as some of the other fresher products. In the same vein, if you really like a certain ingredient, but you know that it's not a popular choice, be aware that you're probably not going to be eating the freshest food. This is because the unpopular ingredients are turned over less, so you're most likely getting something that was sitting around, perhaps a bit bad and picked over. Something that was chucked into the corner of a walk-in freezer and forgotten about for so long that it may have acquired freezer burn, only to be found and thawed out on your behalf. Just consider yourself warned.
I'm warning you.
Don't order fish on Mondays or Tuesdays.
I'm having fish tonight!
If you're going to a fast food restaurant, you can pretty much expect frozen fish every day of the week. But it's not the same for some of the higher level places. Here's how it goes. In order to prepare for the weekends, restaurants will start stocking up on Thursday or Friday. This is because people tend to take it personally when the restaurant is out of something, so they usually buy more food than they need just in case. The fish in question is stored on self-draining ice, which will last 2 to 3 days from the time that the restaurant gets it from their source. Which means that by the time you order that salmon on Monday or Tuesday, it was probably brought in last Thursday, which means that what you're eating is almost a week old.
I didn't want salmon! I said it 4 times!
Even Anthony Bourdain, the famous American chef, wrote that he would never order fish on Mondays for this exact reason. That being said, this was written in his 1999 memoir Kitchen Confidential, and he later went on to say that most good quality restaurants will usually have fresh food. Still, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry.
Ask about the free bread.
We are gonna be the best thing since sliced bread!
Nothing is better than being absolutely famished, sitting down to order your food, and having something to munch on while you wait for your meal. But do you really know where that bread has come from or whose hands it's gone through? Chefs, restaurant employees, and others have been warning us against eating the complimentary bread that's being offered to restaurant goers for ages now.
You want more bread?
Yeah, bread.
One restaurant employee even went so far to claim that in the restaurant they worked in, they were instructed to take the bread from the table after the customers had left, cut off the used pieces, heat it up, and serve it to other patrons. If this is true, then that would open the door for many foodborne illnesses, including norovirus, the most common type of food poisoning. While it's important to remember that not all restaurants do this, Anthony Bourdain was known to have said that this bread reuse is an industry-wide practice. And while other sources claim that it's simply untrue, are you sure you want to take such a bold risk?
No, 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 no.
Soup secrets.
You know something? No soup for you!
Apparently, soup is one of those dishes that can be left for a very long time on a cooker or a stove, gathering bacteria and whatever other things that are airborne in the kitchen that day. According to Reddit users, soup tends to sit in a vat all night, never being cooled properly, or otherwise is left unattended without proper heating. The good news is there are numerous ways to spot when something's up with your delectable liquid.
It's about soup time, isn't it?
The bad news is they all involve you first consuming said soup. Restaurant employees say that there's a lot of red flags when it comes to soup. If it's really salty, then it's been sitting on the stove all day. If it's watery, then they've just added some extra cream or water to give it some extra volume. If it's extremely thick, then it's been sitting in the vat for too long. Then they go on to suggest that if you're ever going to order soup at a restaurant, do it at a soup place. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
I am very disappointed.
Always triple check any vegetarian options.
You're under arrest for veganity violation.
In 2001, McDonald's was famously hit with a lawsuit when it revealed that its fries, which were being advertised as being cooked in vegetable oil, were actually flavored with beef tallow. The popular fast food chain paid the 11 plaintiffs reparations and issued an apology, saying that they regretted not providing their customers with complete information about their products. They also apologized for the hardships that their little miscommunication caused. The worst part is, this isn't the only time this has happened. There are plenty of people who have dietary restrictions due to their religious beliefs and had their hearts broken when it's revealed something seemingly vegetarian actually contains meat. The good thing, though, is that this serves as a warning and the source of an important lesson. Always check the vegetarian options. Even if an item appears to be vegan or vegetarian, make sure to triple check these seemingly innocuous things, such as the sauces, like marinara sauce on pizza, the oil that foods are fried in, and other products, such as beans, to make sure they are truly made without any animal products.
Andre does not eat raw meat because Andre is a vegetarian.
Beware the specials.
Beware, for you are in my power.
There are a few reasons why you should be wary of a restaurant's special menu. On one hand, they might be trying out a new experimental dish to see how well it'll land with their customers. On the other hand, they might be trying to get rid of the leftover, almost expired products that they have. And on the third, most hidden level, they're trying to get you to spend more money on the same product. They're just spicing it up a little bit. Let's get into these in more detail, starting with the first one. This one could really go either way. Depending on how much you like being the test subject of their new recipes, this could actually turn out extremely well for you. Who wouldn't say no to something a little exciting to invigorate your day? And hey, if it's something you really enjoy, you could even send your appreciation to the chef and make their day as well.
He wants to see the chef.
That's if it goes well. If it tastes bad, well then you'll just leave disappointed. On to the second point, which is disproportionately worse than the first. Why is it worse? Well, this is basically the restaurant's way of saying that their profits are more important than your meal, which we all know can be true, but man, it still hurts to hear. Trying to get rid of their old stock is one thing, but trying to trick their customers into spending more money on something that's decidedly less quality, something just doesn't sit right there. And while we're on the note of tricking customers, many chains will try to get you to spend more money on something that has the same ingredients as a much cheaper menu item. They'll charge $3.45 for a California roll, then add some hot sauce, call it a spicy California roll, and charge $1 more. And the worst part? The customers will usually pay for it.
Show me the money.
Stay away from lemons and limes.
Wouldn't you like a nice cool glass of lemonade?
Lemon and lime wedges can give you some much-needed refreshment after a long day, but they also hold a dirty little secret. These drink garnishes can easily be contaminated with bacteria, as several studies indicate. In research published in the Journal of Environmental Health, researchers swabbed samples of the flesh on lemon and lime rinds, which they then checked for microbial content. Nearly 70 products from 21 different restaurants produced growth from 25 different microbial species. What's worse, a significant number of those bacteria can cause illness and disease, and they're usually found in people who don't wash their hands well enough.
A good employee always scrubs his hands thoroughly.
In other words, depending on whether or not they wear gloves or whether they wash their hands properly, restaurant employees can spread their bacteria to your drink when they prepare these wedged slices. So you might be wondering how to protect yourself from this. The easiest solution is to just not order any lemon or lime slices or any other garnishes. But there are other ways.
It's the only way to be sure.
If you're at a restaurant or bar and see people handling slices with their bare hands, that's probably a sign that you don't want it anywhere near you. However, if they're using gloves or using tongs to put them in the glass, the risk of contamination becomes much lower. Run the soda machine for a few seconds.
All I want is a Pepsi.
While many fast food chains and restaurants have regulations on how often a soda fountain machine is cleaned, there's no way to guarantee that they're actually cleaning it. This is why we suggest running it for a few seconds before putting your cup underneath it. In short, it helps to ensure that you're not getting an unhealthy serving of mold or bacteria in your drink, which actually comes from the pipes that your bubbly beverage runs through. And this isn't your regular bacteria. According to research published in the International Journal of Food Microbiology, when 90 beverages from soda machines in Virginia were tested, around half of them came back positive for coliform bacteria, aka fecal matter, aka poop. Oh, and they also tested positive for E. coli, which can lead to diarrhea, stomach aches, vomiting, and a slew of other unfortunate things you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. You're probably thinking, why can't they just wash their machines? Well, they do, and oftentimes workers will dump bleach into the pipes in order to unclog all of the unpleasantness that resides there. In other words, you're adding even more unsavory things to your digestive system.
Thank you.
Avoid ice at all costs.
Let's kick some ice.
With summer in full blast, it may be tempting to double, no triple, up on the ice. But there are some frankly rather gross things about that ice. Fast food employees testify that restaurant ice is one of the filthiest things you can order, and there's proof. The National Restaurant Association lists ice as a potentially dangerous beverage element. They say that ice can contribute to the spread of foodborne illnesses because of the neglect surrounding the cleaning of the ice machines. While ice itself isn't the ideal breeding ground for any sort of bacteria, the ice machines that they hail from could be a cesspool of mold, bacteria, and fungus.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
So why don't they just clean the ice machine? Well, since ice isn't really considered a food, restaurants tend to be quite lax about the regulations. Another one of the reasons for ice being so filthy is because of the amount of handling it goes through. It sits in the ice machine, then is scooped up by some employee who may or may not have clean hands, then it's put in a bucket, then dumped in a bin for the servers to use, then it's scooped again, and then it's put in your glass. In that process alone, there are plenty of opportunities for something nefarious to swoop into your digestive system. Yeah, we'll take our drinks at room temperature, thanks.
Thanks, Satan.
Stay right here and tap that screen for another great video. Show us some love and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.